What are you doing?
I'm just trying to entertain myself a little bit. Working out is so boring.
Is it though?
Does it have to be? Let's find out. Do you view exercise as a chore?
If you think of exercise as an annoying means to an end of achieving your fitness goals, this podcast might change your mind. We're gonna give you 3 tips of how you can go from looking at exercise as something that you have to do, this annoying thing you have to do, to actually enjoying it and, dare I say, loving it?
As usual, I'm Victor. That's my alleged brother, Julian. We're here in BFit, Miami Lakes, PSN, whatever you want to call it, by La Vaquita, Tony's place. You know already. Come work out. I say it every time. I haven't seen you guys here yet. Oh, I saw Ali. Good job, Ali. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Ali.
Have you stayed up till 5 a.m. python hunting and then had to film a podcast? I can't relate. All right, guys, so today we're going to jump right into practical tips because I feel like today is more about straight up advice and how you guys can implement all this stuff.
No fluff.
No fluff today, except for this little fluff right here.
Vamos. There's no fluff there.
Yeah, you wish. So we're going to start with our first tip, which is going to be that mindset really controls everything in your life, and especially when it's something that you're kind of dreading, but you know you have to do.
With our thoughts, we create the world.
Thanks, Buddha.
The Buddha, I think.
I'm probably...
According to Google.
You know,
you can never trust those things.
They always get lost in translation. They attribute everything to Buddha, just like every 50 songs, The Temptations.
Yep.
Yeah. So
But it is true.
it is true. What was the thing again? What was it saying?
With our thoughts, we create the world. In other words, your perspective and your perception of the world really shapes your reality. If you tell yourself a story every single day, that's what you're going to be believing regardless of what your circumstances are.
Yeah, like you said, your thoughts really control everything. So if you've always associated exercise with something that sucks, that's going to be a bad time, that I'm going to struggle through, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, and with exercise, that's what we're going to talk about in this podcast, but it really ripples to every other aspect of your life, right? And just as an example, what would you say that's something that you have a lot of resistance to that you, with your own mind, you like really stop yourself from doing because you think it's so hard or uncomfortable?
Putting the laundry away.
Really?
Yeah, it's my least favorite chore.
I was going to say picking up the phone and making a phone call for you.
Don't call me.
That's that meme? There's a meme where it's like you're telling your spouse,
Oh, I'm going to
"Hey,
order pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to order this. Oh, just call them. No. I think they have an email option. But just call them. No, I'm going to email.
My favorite is the guy dying on the
email
floor.
them
The guy
again.
on the floor dying. He's like, dude, I'm going to text 911. Don't worry. I'm going to text him. He's like, please call them.
That's us.
Yeah,
Why do we hate phone calls so much? But see, that's an example right there of just every time you do it, it's not so bad, but the resistance to like, God, I have to make a phone call.
Yeah, my phone vibrates. I already get
You
anxiety.
guys relate? Is that like a Rana thing?
Tell
Anywho,
us.
back to exercise. Hard cut. What we've observed from so many years of doing this is that it's people's own minds that sets them back. And that's really their biggest enemy, right? So how many times have we heard people say, I'm not a runner, or I'm not flexible, or my favorite, I have no balance. By the way, everyone thinks they have no balance. Fun fact. So it's like you are limiting yourself with those beliefs. I'm not a runner. What does that even mean? It just means that you've never practiced running. Anyone can be a runner if they just practice. Anyone can be a lot of things, but oftentimes we just stop ourselves with our own limiting beliefs. Another common one is, I always give up on my fitness routine. I always quit. So essentially it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So one of our jobs as trainers is helping people pass these hurdles. And one of the things I like most about the job actually is when you see somebody that came in and like they've failed in the past or they've tried before and they haven't been able to do it, you see them get consistent and you see them like here every week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, what have you. I feel like that to me is more powerful than somebody losing like their belly fat or something, because that means that this has become who they are. This is a habit
Absolutely.
they're hopefully going to carry throughout their whole life.
It's the foundation is, I am the type of person who exercises consistently. Now, what your goals are or what you're chasing, that's going to change, and it might change, and you might have different seasons where you're doing different things, but at the end of the day, foundation is, I am the type of person who exercise. I've proven to myself by my actions and my habits that I am that type of person. And I think that's the first hurdle that most people who want to get fit have to get over.
Definitely. And it's one of the hardest ones, I would say, because your comfort zone is your comfort zone for a reason. It's comfortable. And stepping out of that, exercise is hard. So those first few times, especially if you're telling yourself, oh, I don't want to go, that's going to make it even worse. The best thing you can do is just turn your mind off. And for those first few weeks, just go. Just listen to your coach, listen to your friends, just show up, and I promise you it's gonna improve.
Yep. And I want to finish this podcast by talking, not now, by talking about the importance of a coach and then what role we play. But let's continue with these tips. As trainers, sometimes people think that we don't struggle with this kind of thing. Like, oh, you must love working out. You've always loved working out or whatever. This stuff comes easy to you. So first of all, it's not true. And second, I'd like to ask you, and then I can go, how do you deal with these like self-limiting beliefs? Like, do you have a process, or like, how do you deal with it?
I'm a simpleton, so what I do is I just turn my brain off, because my brain is always looking for the next fun activity. That's just how I'm wired, or next like funny thing that I could be getting into. So
Chester.
At that point, yeah, sure, I'm a jester. So not Chester. So at that point, I just turn my brain off and just do it. Like that's the only thing that works for me. I can't overthink it. I can't think of this is gonna suck. I gotta do this and that. Just turn your brain off and start. That's literally what works for me. And we're lucky that we're at a gym to begin with. It's a blessing and a curse, because at the end of the day, any trainer you ask, man, you're 7-8 hours in the gym. You think you want to spend another hour in there? No, you want to go home. You want to go home to your family. You want to go home and eat, to your dogs, whatever, what have you. It's not easy. You guys think it's easy for a trainer? It's not easy.
So you got to get yourself a Rain that lets you work out with her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rain. I appreciate you.
I just told her the other day for randomly. But yeah, for me, it's just a matter of turning my brain off and just going. Like, if I'm going to run, if I overthink it, it's not going to happen. But if I wake up on a Sunday, half asleep, put headphones on, tie my shoes, and just go, it's over in 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, I like
it's
that
not
advice.
that bad.
I like that. Ask me.
Oh, those birds just crashed into the window.
Oh, little bird, big bird?
2 little birds. That's how clean these windows are.
Wow.
How about you? What do you do?
Yes, I've been waiting.
How do you handle these challenges?
Okay. So for me...
And the podcast is over, guys. Thanks so much. See you next week. All right, go ahead.
So for me, I've always believed in leaning into the discomfort. This, to me, is a game changer, and it's a philosophy that I share with a lot of clients, and that's don't be afraid of the discomfort. I feel like once you flip that switch and you realize that discomfort equals good, discomfort equals growth, overcoming this is going to help me, it's a completely different, would you agree? Like, it's like, yeah, this thing is hard, and that's good, so I'm going to do it.
And that's why everybody knows that he sleeps on a bed of needles, very uncomfortable. That's why he has those bags under his eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, you're at 100%.
Discomfort all day. I don't use the AC in my car.
All day. He's very uncomfortable. His wife hates him. No, but you're absolutely right. That's something that if you lean into those difficult tasks, and especially these that you have a choice in making, it's not like you trip into dumbbells and now you're working out. These hard decisions that you make, that you choose to make and choose to battle through, ultimately make you stronger for the other difficult things that life is inevitably going to throw at you.
Yeah, it's empowering.
Definitely.
An example I have that's come up during this challenge is people say, because a few of us are runners, and right now, it's starting to the weather's a little bit better, but it's very humid. We live in South Florida. It's hot as hell out there. And some people are like, I can't believe you guys go out
raining out there in the run.
And some people say, I can't believe you guys are going out there and running in this heat. Like, it's crazy. And I'm one of those cycles that goes out at noon. Like, I don't care. And it's why? Why is it that for some people it's unfathomable that you can do that, and for others? And to me, it's like, yeah, I'm struggling out there. Yes, I'm breathing heavy. I'm sweating like crazy. But there's something, I don't know if it's like masochistic about it, but it's like, yeah, this is hard. So what? Like, it's hard. That's the good thing about it. Like, to me, it's like it has to be hard. So it doesn't. I don't know how to explain it. Does it make sense?
Yeah. We all know Julian likes it hard. He's always been that type of guy.
Always.
He prefers
It's
it
gotta be hard.
Everything has to be hard, no matter
what.
what.
Okay, but seriously now, does that make sense, or am I just a masochist? That's a good question, because somebody's gonna be like, "Fuck that! You're just a."
I think there's a limit. I think everybody has their limit, but I think it's beneficial to see things that way, because you can go out and accomplish a task that other people see as difficult, and just knock it out of the park.
You won't have so many self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah, because I'm one of those that I see it out there and I'm like, man, I don't want to get a heat stroke. So I commend all the people that do it. I think that's something that I have to overcome. That I think is just step by step. I don't think you just jump into those aggressive decisions to overcome that difficult task. I think that's a mindset that you really have to step into.
Yeah, and it's a practice. But that's why the first tip is mindset. Yep. I do believe that it's something that you can work on. But like you said, that was a really good point. You don't jump from I don't ever run to let me go try to run an hour in the South Florida heat. You don't do that. You take a baby step. But it all starts with the belief that this is hard and that's fine. I'm going to overcome it, and guess what? You're going to feel better after, and you're going to feel empowered because I did the hard thing.
And this is one of those things that, like we just said, don't jump right into it if you're inactive. But also, that whole cliche of listen to your body is fine to an extent, because we've talked about it here. Your body's going to be like, yo, go inside, it's hot.
Body's lazy.
Listen to your body to an extent. You know, like if you feel like you're going to faint or something like that extreme, obviously listen to your body. But don't listen to your body if your body's telling you, dude, don't go out at all, stay in. Like, you got to push yourself a little bit. That comes also with that mindset.
Yep, absolutely. My body wouldn't want to work out half the time.
Oh.
Now to tip number 2.
Fuck you.
And that is experiment until you find something you actually enjoy.
That's a good one. Who wrote that?
So contrary to what we just said, you can't just will yourself through sheer force and willpower to just enjoy. I'm gonna enjoy the run in the heat, because you can't just
some
will
trainer
yourself.
on YouTube told me to.
Exactly. Some a-hole in the
Some guy with
PSN Town
bags
Center
and big
told
forehead
me.
told me to. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying like specifically like somebody.
It's all right. The shoe fits.
If the hat doesn't fit.
All right, what were you gonna say about that?
Like I said earlier, I'm the type of person that's always looking for a fun outlet or something that makes things more enjoyable. So this is a huge one for me. I enjoy calisthenics. I love pull-ups. I love bodyweight movements. I like yoga, surprisingly. I like skating. These things just come natural to me. So if I have to choose something, I'm gonna gravitate towards one of those now. That doesn't mean that I neglect things that I don't like, though.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely want to get into that, but the point of what you're saying, first and foremost, is how did you know that you enjoyed calisthenics?
trying different things.
How did you know you enjoyed yoga? You've done all these things, and then you landed on hey, I don't like that. I like this. And one of the misconceptions that people have is that, like, they look at us trainers and they're like, oh, you guys just love fitness, sporty spices, you like everything fitness. I'll give it to you straight. I don't like most exercise modalities. There's some
abs.
that I downright hate. Like, I hate HIIT, I hate high intensity
Ugh.
interval training, I hate ab circuits. You don't have to do certain things, but the way that I got there, I arrived there, was by trying a little bit of everything throughout the years, and you start through like process of elimination. I definitely don't like that, definitely don't like this. A simple example is back to running. I love running outside, like in the elements, but I hate running on a treadmill. You won't catch me dead running on a treadmill. It's just personal preference. Maybe some people do.
I don't mind either one. I'd rather run. I'm like a dog. I'd rather chase a ball. I'd rather chase a frisbee. I'd rather chase a mailman. But running with no end goal to me is just like, I guess like in my own head, it's just, I don't know. Like I'd rather run with a goal.
You don't like to run.
Yeah, so.
That's fine.
But I still like to do it every once in a while, just like you said, to get out of my comfort zone, to push it. Even though I don't necessarily enjoy it as much as the other ones, it's good to have all different modalities of training.
So now we get into an interesting, because it almost seems like a contradiction, right? So, well, do you do the things do you push past the resistance and do something that you don't want to do, but you know you have to? Or do you keep experimenting until you find something you quote unquote love? Because I know what some people are thinking, what am I going to love? It requires like, and it's true, it all requires effort. It requires me like moving my body and doing things that may feel uncomfortable. So what if there isn't anything that I necessarily love? And how much of each, like how do you think about that? How much should you be pushing past the resistance versus, oh, I'm going to keep experimenting until I find something that I like?
So what do you say?
What do you say? I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
No, I asked you first.
What would you say?
I saw it.
I would say that there's some absolutes that you definitely need to do. Everybody, I feel, needs to be strength training, and that's I'm sorry, but there's just no other way that you get the same benefits that you would get from strength training. So that's one. You got to have your one that's unavoidable, and in my opinion, that's strength training. The energy increase, the bone density increase, everything especially as we get older, these are things that you just need that you don't get from any other modality of exercise. So pick one that you do like, walking, running, what have you, and supplement that with what I feel is the most important one, which is strength
Taking
training.
your pills. You don't want to do it, but you know you have to.
Yeah, and that's strength training in my opinion, whether you like it or not. And then sometimes there might be an aspect of strength training that you do like some people
That's
like
what I was gonna say.
upper body day. Hey, then knock out your upper body day. Go full effort on upper body day, but you still got to do legs. Just don't go as hard, especially in the beginning. Take the legs easy, but don't skip them altogether.
So what I would say to add to that is that there's so many different methods of strength. You say strength training like it's like a one thing.
Yeah.
There's so many different things within that umbrella of strength training or cardio or anything else. For example, with strength training, you have like HIIT, high intensity intervals. You have circuits. You have studios that do partner-based exercise. You have time-based ones. You have
Bodybuilder.
traditional bodybuilding type stuff. You have like more of an athletic. There's so many possibilities. So if you're listening and going, "Ah, but like strength training sucks," well, maybe the one you've tried sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a studio out there or a method that you actually would enjoy.
Yeah,
so maybe you just haven't tried enough.
Maybe you went to a commercial gym and tried it by yourself, and there was a big line of people. That's a bad experience. Or
A lot of people have bad experiences, and that's why they say that's when the narrative,
Yep.
tip number one, starts of, oh well, this sucks.
yeah,
Like
strength training
strength
sucks.
training
It's
just
all at a
sucks.
gym, and it's like these meatheads pushing weight around, and they're judging me for the weight. And like, no, like you said, you might have gone to the wrong gym. That might not be the gym for you. You might belong here, which is our little family
You
of
do belong here.
everyone belongs here.
Not everyone. I will kick you out.
Oh my God. So yeah, I mean, try different ones, but like you said, there are a lot of different modalities, and even within the branch of strength training, there's you could do high rep, you could do higher weight. I'm always the type of person that likes to increase weight over reps. Like there's different ways you can play with it that makes it more enjoyable.
And I think that it's our job as trainers, more trainers should do this. And when you are putting yourself out there and your methods, let's say you like to do a certain way, always tell your audience that there's so many more ways to do this. There's band work, there's kettlebells, there's functional equipment, there's with your own body weight, calisthenics. So even though let's say you like strength training and I like calisthenics, hey, by the way, you guys can do this with a band, you can do this at home with your body weight. You don't have to do it my way, but what happens is you always want to sell your services. You want to sell the way that you do it and why it's the best, but it could just be that one that you like the most.
And that's a good point, because I feel like a good trainer understands that, hey, I like calisthenics. You might not like calisthenics, so I'm not going to push it onto you. If I'm a good trainer, this person enjoys, let's say you come see me 3 times a week and you like doing legs more than upper body. I'm going to squeeze in a little more legs whenever I get the chance.
Yeah.
So this hour is as enjoyable for you as possible while still doing the meat and potatoes that I know we need to get done.
For sure. And like I said earlier, I hate HIIT, right? But some of my clients love it. So that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
It still has its place in the workout. And if it's something, it's the whole point of this podcast is if it's something that you're going to enjoy more, I'll throw it into your program. Maybe you like mobility or stretching. We'll do a little bit more stretching. You can't be so dogmatic in your approach as a trainer.
Yeah, you can't be rigid in how you set things up.
Last thing I'll say about this is that it ties into tip number one, because you have to have the mindset of being open to experimentation to even go out there and do these things, right? The same way that somebody would have the limiting belief of, I'm not a runner, I'm not fit, I'm not this, they'll say like, they'll be intimidated to try a space. Well, no, that place looks like too intimidating. That place looks like it's not for me. Oh, I didn't really like what they posted the other day. So have the mindset first and foremost to experiment in the first place, because you never know what you're gonna find.
That's true. And something else that kind of goes along with this is maybe you don't enjoy exercise, but you like your trainer. So find the trainer that you enjoy that makes that hour more enjoyable for you. And I think that's huge. That might be just as important as enjoying the exercise themselves. If you enjoy, this person makes you feel good, they make you feel empowered, all of that is just as powerful to getting a strict workout routine. And little by little, that love for that trainer is gonna blend in with the exercises, and you might even have like an overlap there. And at one point, you might not even need them, and it just becomes part of your routine. Like I started liking the trainer, the exercises came with it, and now I kind of just like both.
In my experience, they'll end up sticking with the trainer.
Hopefully.
Because what you're doing is you're creating an environment. And what they're really enjoying is the environment, not the exercise per se. Exercise is just something that you do in said environment.
Yeah.
And I think that, we do a pretty good job here at creating a culture where people feel at home, they feel safe, they feel like this is family, everybody's fun, nobody takes us too seriously. And yeah, we're exercising, we're doing something hard, but they like that environment. And environment is huge when it comes to fitness, because how many of you guys, and I know you'll relate to this, that say, I can give you the same workout we do at Be Fit, go do it at home. Go do it at home and then talk to me. We've done it. We did it during COVID. And everybody was like, God, that sucked. I hated it. I can't do it by myself like that.
They're not easy either. They're not easy.
But it's something about the environment that makes it better. So just find the right environment.
100%.
I was going to do the podcast in my hiking boots.
And here's tip number 3. How do you guys do 3? Like this or like this?
Like this.
Like that? I think I'll do this. And here's tip number 3. And that's to focus on the pros.
And this, yet again, involves your mindset, but it's a little bit different because it's more about perspective. So instead of waking up in the morning being like, I have to go and I have to lift these heavy weights, it's gonna suck, this and that, why not try focusing on how much better you're gonna feel and that sense of accomplishment that you feel after the weights, right? So not necessarily looking at the hard part, but all the benefits that come along with it. It's just that little shift in perspective.
Looking
It's
at
a
the
little
aftermath before it
exactly
happens.
how you're gonna feel, or maybe how you're gonna feel after you've done this for a few weeks and you just feel better and you're seeing gains and you're stronger and you have more energy.
That's one like cliche, and I usually don't agree with these gym cliches, but that's one gym cliche that I definitely agree with is nobody ever says, man, I regret going to that workout. And that's so true. We have people in here that come in dreading it. You see them, especially on a Monday, dragging ass. They'll flip me off. They'll tell me obscene things. And at the end, thanks, Vic. And I'm like, well, that was a big flip.
Always happy that you made an effort to do it.
It's always the same thing, man. In the beginning, they're like, I knew I should have stayed home. Bulgarians again. And I'm like, all right, you said no. And at the end, they're like, I'm so glad I came. It's always the same thing. So that's a huge one. Focus on the aftermath. You're going to feel better. Obviously, there's exceptions if you're going to hurt yourself or something, but that's a different.
Yeah, the thing we've noticed is that the people who, like, they exercise consistently, they've already, like, it's part of their identity. They don't necessarily love the act of exercising. Like, they're still going to be complaining and it sucks and it's hard and all that, but they love being someone who's fit, being someone who exercises, the benefits that they've gotten from exercise. That's what they love.
Yeah.
So in a sense, yeah, they've learned to love exercise. Not like people think, oh my God, you're so lucky. You love getting your ass handed to you by these weights every day. Not necessarily, but we like the self-confidence, the fact that it gives you discipline, the energy, the body composition, all these things that are a result of exercise. So now you have a positive association with exercise.
That's true. And it's so easy to overlook that when, let's say, like something happened to you and you've missed the gym for 2-3 weeks, you see yourself gaining a little weight. It's so easy to focus on I got to go back and that's going to suck and I'm going to be out of shape. That, as opposed to thinking of, man, 3 weeks ago I felt really good when I was consistent. That's that little, like you said, that little switch of mindset. Yeah.
Feeling.
Just telling yourself, I got to get back to that. That should be powerful enough to get you to go back and start hitting it hard again.
For sure. And we talk about this all the time, but I feel like one of the biggest life hacks you can have, which I always identify with, is I won't allow myself, right? Is what I tell myself. I won't allow myself to get out of shape because I know how good it feels to be in shape and to be fit, that once you've gone to those standards, you just won't, I can't just let myself go, not work out for a few weeks, start eating like crap. Like I love the way that I feel because of my workout. So now that's intrinsic motivation. Nobody has to tell me to work out anymore. I'm just gonna do it because there's a positive association. I'm focusing on the pros.
That's such a good, like, it's not even a tip. That's just such a good place to be once you find yourself there because, like you said, you don't have to tell yourself, oh, I gotta go to the gym. It's just, this is what I do. This is what makes me feel good, and I'm gonna go feel good. Like,
you're not even gonna have that discussion with yourself.
Yeah.
You just bypass it.
Exactly. You heard the cricket again?
Yeah. What the hell is going on?
What's going on? Somebody's pranking us, man. I swear, cricket.
Maybe cricket herself.
Maybe she put a fake cricket in here to play with us.
Laughing right now.
For sure.
Just thinking about it.
For sure.
And this was, as I was thinking about this episode, I thought of an interesting example. You tell me if you agree or not, but I feel like people do a really good job at focusing on the pros when it comes to having kids, right? From what I've heard and seen, when you think of a kid or the idea of having a kid, it's like you think of the cute, the cuddly, the smiles, or when they take their first steps. I don't think a lot of people think about like all the bad things, the vomiting in the middle of the night, the crying, the tantrums, all that stuff. Because to be honest, it's like once you know what you're signing yourself up for, you're like, God, this is really hard. But you're looking at the pros, and the pros really are so rewarding that it's worth the sacrifices. But it's the same with exercise. Like the pros are so rewarding that you're willing to put up with the hard and the discomfort and all that stuff.
That's an interesting analogy. I wouldn't have thought of it that way. But then again, I don't have kids. I haven't had the sleepless nights. Look at these bags. They're not designer.
However, I didn't sleep last night not because of the kids, because of the
python
in my... Okay.
This guy went python hunting, and that is not a euphemism.
It's not. It's real.
Got some...
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
You ever had a fisheye lately? What happened to fish eyes?
Fisheye.
What happened to that?
You grew up.
What the fuck? Adults don't get fish eyes? No, that's not true. What is that, a wart?
I have no idea what it is.
Guys, what's
any
a fish eye?
dermatologists out there? So everything we talked about thus far can be done alone, right? But it does take a lot of effort. You know, our thoughts, our habits, it's just we've had this narrative, this inner monologue pretty much our entire lives for most of us. So in order for you to go into your own mind and change it, that takes a lot of effort. So that's where the role of a mentor or a trainer or a coach, some sort of outside figure that's helping you with that internal monologue and with your self-talk and with your mindset is going to be crucial.
Yeah, that's so true, and I think it starts from when you're a kid. That whole, if you have a good coach, the kids that have good coaches or something like that, usually they tend up to love that sport or that activity. Whereas the kids that have either the overly aggressive parent with the sport or the overly aggressive coach is like, no, you're gonna go to football and you're gonna bust your ass, you're gonna throw up 3 times, and I don't care. Like that's kind of gonna make you hate that activity. So if you find the trainer that treats you with care, that you could tell that they genuinely care about your physical being, your mental being, all that stuff. I feel like that association of the positive affirmations with that trainer, that ultimately leads to maybe not liking exercise, but definitely a more enjoyable path to exercise.
Yeah, the trainer is the catalyst for that change because
Yeah.
let's face it. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's very hard to change people's like self-image and the way they talk to themselves. Some of our clients, you guys are way too hard on yourselves. So sometimes you have to be the compassionate one. You have to be the one to remind them, encourage them. Look how far you've come. At all these things that I know you're not doing enough for yourself, and maybe you don't have a support group that does it for you. So I'm gonna have to do that for you. I want to do that for you. That's as big of our job as prescribing exercises.
And I think it's so important because some people don't see these goals or these gains that they make. Like people are so hung up on, oh, I haven't lost any pounds, I haven't done this, but you're like, okay, but you started rowing a 15 and now you're rowing a 35. That's huge. Like these little things that you probably wouldn't tell yourself is part of the trainer's job to tell you and remind you and encourage you to keep going rather than, yeah, you're right, you haven't lost any weight. So like,
Yeah, there could be toxic coaches and quote unquote mentors too. But I want to talk about a testimonial because it's such a good example of this. I don't know if she would want to be named because she's a private person, but one of your clients, I remember the first phone call with her. She was like, look, I hate working out. I hate it. I've never been able to do it. That's why I need a trainer. I need to have that appointment. I need somebody. I need the accountability, right? Fast forward, what, like a year and a half later, and she's like your most consistent client. It's unbelievable the change. Like, tell me
Shout
about
out
that.
to-
Like, how did that happen?
shout out to,
Name starts with.
her name starts with honestly, it was a journey too with her. We started pulling teeth. She would cancel on me once a week. I could tell she would walk in here dragging ass. And then little by little, I just reminded her how far she's come. We worked towards the goals that she wanted. She started seeing some results, physical, mental. And now she tells me like, I can't miss here. Like, you don't understand. My life is so stressful. When I miss, I feel like everything's pulling me in all directions. When I show up, when I put the work in, not only do I feel great physically, but she feels great mentally. And now, like you said, she doesn't miss a day. When she does miss a day, she tells me like, hey, I got to reschedule for you for tomorrow. Like, we need to get those 3 days in. And I feel like
Love
that's
it.
been so huge on her. I'm so proud of her because, like you said, she came from hating it, despising it, walking in, dragging ass to like, hey, do you have availability tomorrow at any time? I'm willing to come at any time because I got to get that work in.
She saw the change. Like all these things we talked about today, she internalized those things, and now she's a believer. And now she has that intrinsic motivation, even though she still has you. But now it's like that combination is powerful.
Combination. And she has a far drive. She has a lot of things kind of going against her.
Friction.
A lot of friction, and she still, man, she manages to pull through every week. So, like I said, I'm super proud of her. And anybody that does that, it's a huge accomplishment.
And it's great because now every time somebody calls me, that somebody that wants to join the gym, and they tell me that, I'm like, ha, have I got a story for you?
Here we go. Yep. Mhm.
We know your type.
Yep.
You're gonna
And-
learn to love it.
Yeah, we're gonna help you out there. Whether you like some sort of exercise or don't like any of it at all, we're gonna try to make it more comfortable for you.
Okay, so let's ask you guys, do you have a story? I know some of our avid listeners definitely have this transformation story of somebody that used to be like, I work out and the yo-yoing,
Oh.
and then all of a sudden are like fitness fanatics.
Two
you
of
know?
our
And-
two of our biggest listeners, I would say. I'm not gonna say names. I want to
know.
go shout out to no.
No, not again.
These two are, man. Again, I keep saying it, but I'm so proud of them because they've gone from canceling, not liking exercise. One of them would come and go, his membership would come and go, and now he's arguably one of the most fit people I know. Or like,
Yeah.
and
super,
same with
super disciplined.
Yeah.
So we'd love to hear like what happened there internally. What did you say to yourself? What had to happen in your life? How did you make that change? Because that's such a valuable thing for some people that are on the other side. That are like, "Ah, I'm still stuck on like I can't do it. I keep quitting. I keep giving up. So
Yeah.
it's good to know that not only is it possible, but like it happens all the time, and we've seen it.
Yeah, and the more of these stories we get, the better, because this person's situation might not fit in with yours, but you might hear a story like, damn, it's exactly what I'm going through, and that's kind of something I could see for myself.
So if you want to kind of send like a summarized version of this, because I know not everybody likes podcasts, they suck. We do have a blog on this exact topic, which just like takes 3 minutes to read. We're gonna put it in the description. And then of course, if you know anyone that could benefit from having that mentor, having that coach, having that encouragement, send them our way. That is what we do. And I'm sure if you guys are listening to this, then you already know that's what we do. So just send them over. We'd love to help.
Slide on by.
And with that being said,
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Be Fit Bros podcast. Is that what we're calling it now? I'm changing the name every week.
sure, do it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Be Fit Bros
time,
podcast. It's the first time, first and not last. You out of water? You want a little more?
No, I'm good.
All right, a little more?
I just need to sleep.
All right, guys. You guys are going to get some sleep. I'm going to go do adult things. Maybe. Have fun, and we'll see you on the next one. Jesus, dude. Nobody wants to see that. That micro snake.